Coming up on show 432, so many sales numbers, a long bendy electric bus, and the latest merger will surprise you. Those stories and many more coming up on today's podcast. Hello, it's Martyn here. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, first one of the week, Monday 1st of April. And definitely no April Fools in the podcast today, because chances are you're listening to this about 3 days after I publish it. So if you want to have a look online, there was some April Fools earlier today on the online article, some good ones as well. So what I do is go through every EV story that I can find. Obviously I have a load, but I know your time is precious. I try and whittle it down to 4, 5, 6 stories maybe, sometimes a little bit more, but the ones you really need to know about to save you time. Thank you very much to new Patreon supporters. Hello to Robert Saunders, who signed up a couple of hours ago. Thank you for your support, Robert. Hello to a new producer of the podcast. That's Don Miller. Hello, Don. Thank you for your support. And a new executive producer. Your name's down the bottom if you go and have a look. Ohad Ashton. Thank you very much for being an executive producer. I appreciate that. Patreon.com/EVNewsDaily. I do appreciate your support, as always, along with myev.com. They are building the world's first marketplace. And it's a fast marketplace as well. If you are buying and selling EVs in the US, check it out, myev.com. Hey, I sign up to this daily email that I get from a company called Chartable, and what they do is they keep track of podcasts and how they're doing, and in the various charts around the world. And I've been watching EV News Daily in the UK charts for a while now. It does okay, but it's been going up and up lately, and then finally yesterday, we finally got to number one. This is the number one automotive podcast in the UK, which is amazing. I can't believe it, really. So if you're listening, one of my UK listeners, thank you so much. Not quite the number one automotive podcast in the US. There's a few above me. But hey, I'm working on it. And thank you very much to anybody who listens all around the world. Your support is enormously, gratefully received. Hey, so many numbers now that we're into a brand new month. We can start to look back at last month. And Matthias Schmidt, who is worth following on Twitter at AutoSchmidt, I don't know how he gets these numbers so quickly, but he is the man in the know. Tesla has become the first manufacturer to register over 10,000 pure electric cars in a single month in Western Europe. What a stat that is to break. Congratulations to all the team, all 40,000 plus members of staff who made it happen. Tesla's the first manufacturer to register over 10,000 pure EVs in a single month in Western Europe. Well, 7 in 10 of Norway's new cars last month were plug-in. I have to say all these things twice because they don't sink in the first time. 70% of Norway's new car registrations last month had a plug. Heck yes! The first month on record that a European market surpassed more than 10,000 battery electric vehicle registrations. However, Norway remains unrepresentative because of the tax structure that favours EVs, but there's lessons that we can all learn. Yeah. There were 1,153 Model 3s in France last month. The Model 3 mix of the total BEV, or battery electric vehicle, BEV, BEV registrations in March was 25%. The top selling car, by the way, sold 101 more, and that is the little city car, the Renault Zoe, the one I've got, the French. Really love that. I wonder if there's some price discounting going on in France because there's a new one coming. Rumours are bigger battery than the 41 kilowatt hour that it's got. Maybe 50, some say 60. I doubt that, but heck, it'd be amazing. But with not just AC charging, with DC fast charging, CCS combo up to 100 kilowatts on what is a cheap run-around city car. Yes, Renault, yes! But we'll see. I don't know, maybe the French got a taste for Zoes in March, or maybe there is just a little bit of price discounting going on to run out that inventory before the new one arrives very, very soon. Now, according to official stats, last month the Model 3 was also the best-selling car of any kind in the Netherlands. 2,195 new registrations is almost 6% of the entire car sales, says Mark Kane for InsideEVs.com. We failed to spot a single model that would be above 1,000 registrations, and we believe the second best plug-in model is below 500. A full sales report from the Netherlands is coming later this month. The results are amazing from all ways, by the way. We must remember that Tesla has a high number of orders early, and it's too early to judge the demand from the initial outcome. In other words, there's some pent-up, stacked-up demand for Model 3s. But We love these numbers when there's so many more electric cars on the roads, whoever is making them. And of course, we can't not talk about the Q1 numbers now that it's done and dusted and Tesla made those final deliveries. What will it be in the US then? How many cars on home soil, so to speak? And we haven't even mentioned China either, but how many cars on home soil did Tesla manage to sell? How many Model 3s and S's and X's? And I can't wait to find out those numbers. Certainly here in Europe, there is so much pent-up demand, and that doesn't even count the UK, the right-hand drive models as well. They haven't even started making them in proper numbers yet. When they do, I know so many people in this country with a reservation, of which I am not one, before I get accused of favouring Tesla too much. Let's talk about what could potentially be a massive merger. Peugeot Citroën PSA and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles FCA could be jointly developing EVs. And if you're thinking, didn't he mention Fiat Chrysler recently? Yes, in relation to a possible Renault-Nissan takeover. They're getting into bed with everybody. But I presume they can only get married to one. But you know, you've got to sample the market first. Try not to go too many places with this. I think it's best if we all move on. After reporting mid-March that PSA, Peugeot Citroën Group, is targeting acquisitions, Automotive News has now published new interesting information about the French manufacturer, the second largest European-based automaker last year, measured in sales numbers, is allegedly discussing a new partnership with Fiat Chrysler Automobiles that's going to be focused on developing EVs together, according to people who are familiar with the talks. According to Anthony Carr, writing for Motor1.com today, word on the street is that the two auto giants are considering developing a super platform together, an architecture for EVs that will be used by all the brands within both their companies. Very similar to how other companies are joining forces, like VW Group did a EV platform, the MEB platform, and they have done a deal with Ford where Ford will license that, for instance. People who asked not to be named, as the matter is private, have told the online publication that the two automakers want to reduce investment costs and make their EVs profitable. A potential cooperation between the two companies is also seen as a first step towards a full merger between the two automakers. PSA is believed to be interested in such a move because of FCA's exposure in the US. Now, the French company is going to be making a full comeback by the middle of the next decade. So by 2025, we know that you can buy Peugeots and Citroëns, maybe just Peugeot to begin with. I mean, look, it's still 6 years away though, right? The addition, though, is that FCA, which owns companies like Jeep, one of the most appealing marks in today's industry. Imagine a fully electric Jeep going up against the Rivian, going up against the Tesla truck. Oh my goodness, that 4x4 market would be so exciting, wouldn't it? And then you put in Ford there with the F-150 trucks and some GM stuff. Oh wow, electrifying those big dirty diesels, but the cars that could really do with four-wheel drive, with instant torque, with torque vectoring, and on all four wheels, making them really serious off-roaders. I get so excited thinking about those kind of things. Look, the city cars are great, the Tesla Roadsters are great, the semi-trucks are great, but you start electrifying some off-roaders and you start to turn some heads from people that would swear they would never drive an EV. You know who I'm talking about. Let's talk about BYD, Build Your Dreams, the Chinese company that's very good at making buses, actually all commercial vehicles, but particularly buses. They've introduced the K12A. Let me explain what that is. The K12A is a 27-metre bus. Yeah, that's 88.5 feet. It's that long and it's bi-articulated. Now, what does that mean? Maybe you've seen bendy buses with two halves and it bends in the middle. The bi-articulated bus is in 3 parts. It's a 3-part bus, and so therefore two bendy bits, and it is the world's longest pure electric bus. The company introduced it at its headquarters in Shenzhen in China. BYD's new K12A has a passenger capacity of 250 people. It'll do 44 miles an hour, that's 70 k's, a range of 186 miles on one full charge, says Phil for Electrek. Well, BYD claims the K12A is the world's first electric bus with a four-wheel drive system. Now, what it can do is switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive smoothly to meet the demands of different terrains. I imagine only two-wheel drive would be much more efficient if you're on flat, clean, tarmac, and then if you need the extra traction from the three bits of the bus, you can add more traction. It also lowers the vehicle's overall energy consumption by cleverly applying the power where it needs to. Wow, I've never heard of a bi-articulated bus. In London, we used to have loads of bendy buses, and then they got rid of them all, and I could never work out why, because it had a really bad reputation. All of my cyclist friends would hate them. I suppose they were tough for going around corners and maybe not seeing cyclists, and like the newspapers had a real campaign against the bendy bus, and then they were sort of all wiped out. Well, they were all sold off, I imagine, to different cities who painted them their own colours, but it was always a thing in London. We hate the bendy bus. I could never work out why. I mean, they weren't so bad if you ask me, but I'm sure there was very, very good reasons why people hated them. Well, now it's a three-way bendy bus with lots of batteries. Let's talk finally on the podcast today about a brand that have got it going on with styling right now. One of the new Volvos passed me on the motorway today as I was coming back from London, back down to the south coast of the UK, and Volvo styling is my favourite at the moment. And actually, you know what? This is kind of a funny story. I was following a Model S with a ridiculously good personalised number plate, and I won't say what it was, but it was basically almost one letter, one number, which in the UK, you know that means, because we pay different rates, because some countries you pay a flat rate for your personalised registration, but there's a marketplace over here, and the good ones are often, £100,000 or something. This would have been a very expensive number plate, and they were in a P90D, a white P90D. Now, if you have the number plate I was following, you can definitely afford a P100DL, right? But I was following that, and then came past us both was a new Volvo. And I just thought, man, looking at the two styling, the Model S is nice, but it's starting to age now. The Model S goes back to, when was the design? 2012? I'm no Tesla expert, but maybe before, right? So the Volvo just looked good, and I thought, if there was an electric one of those, I would bite their hand off. And there is. A little over a year ago, Volvo announced plans for an EV onslaught, with fully electric cars making up half their total sales by the middle of the next decade. And now the XC40 is going to lead the way, as representatives of the Swedish brand just told Automotive News in Europe that the pure electric variant of the XC40, the small crossover, will be revealed this year, says Adrian Padano for Motor1.com. Now, without going into any details about the zero-emissions XC40, Volvo did announce plans to have its very first EV on sale next year in 2020, when the Model 3 rivaling Polestar 2 will be hitting the streets. Isn't there a fully charged Polestar 2 video that's well worth watching? Highly recommend that. I said that. Have I seen it? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I haven't seen that one. Oh man, there's a backlog of videos that I need to watch at the moment, and just finding time to do that. So next year, the Polestar 2 from Volvo, the two models are going to have a lot in common. Both are on the same platform, so it's a bit like the Model 3 and the Model Y. They've got their platform, they'll get Polestar 2 out, and then on top of that platform, they can build the XC40, pure electric, gorgeous styling. I love the interior, love the exterior, love your Volvo. Please get the specs right, and please get the price right as well. So, that's the news for today. I've got some news about what I'll be up to over the next couple of days in a moment. First of all, our question of the week. This is one to get you thinking, right? EVs are connected cars. If you're a Tesla owner, you'll know that Tesla track you constantly. They know where your car is. That's great for recovery. That's great for Sentry mode. If it detects something, and you can then upload to the cloud any footage of your car being hit or damaged, so that no one can swipe the little memory card if they're breaking into it. Connected cars are great, but there are some concerns from some people about where this data might lead. Now, EVs are inherently connected. How much do you think we should value convenience versus privacy. Does anybody have a right to know where we're driving? I mean, for instance, in the past, it has held up. Was it Switzerland or Austria wanted a fleet of Teslas for their police, and in the end couldn't make it work because they just couldn't get a way around the connectivity. I mean, I think you can turn a large part of it off with Tesla. You don't have to share everything, but the police force just said, look, we just can't have anyone knowing where we are, where our cars are, or even connecting to them. It has to be completely offline. And Teslas are inherently online cars, over-the-air updates and things. So it kind of scuppered the plan. What do you think? How much should we value convenience versus privacy? Do you even care? Let me know. Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. Leave a comment on Facebook and YouTube and myv.com as well. Right, time for the endy bit. Thank you to 211, no, maybe 213 patrons of the podcast who keep me going. That's patreon.com/evnewsdaily. And you make this show happen, the hosting fees, all those kind of things. With podcasts, often, the more they're downloaded, the more you pay. I am still just about hanging on to a flat rate, by the way. But I am prepared that one day the show will grow and I'll get a tap on the shoulder from my podcast host to go, you've got to start paying now for your bandwidth. But for now, I'm on a flat rate, so I can budget. I'm going to be travelling. Don't worry, it's not Patreon money paying for this, but someone is paying me to travel to Miami this week to help them make podcasts. All right, for some, eh? So, I've checked the temperature. It's 24 degrees. Brilliant. I'll take my sunblock. I've got freckles and pale skin. 24 degrees is just about doable for me. So I'm going to be travelling, but I will still make sure the podcast happens. It might not happen at regular times. I mean, my schedule's been off anyway, but it may sound different, and obviously I've got a lot of work to do. I promise it will happen though, so bear with me. Thank you very much to everyone who listens to this show as part of your daily routine. There are 431 previous shows to download online for free right now where you get your podcasts from. Please subscribe to new ones. Please share it. You know that I'm a massive attention seeker. I just want you to share this podcast and help it grow and get bigger all the time and spread the word about clean air and EVs. And for someone to be half as excited as I am about this future that we have around the corner from us, please hit share on your socials. Tell a friend about it, maybe a club or a forum, or anyone who's EV curious. And I try and keep it open to newcomers and not get too nerdy. Oh, I try, it doesn't always work. And so please share this podcast and hopefully we can spread the word. Say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I will catch you tomorrow from a different time zone. And do remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.